What up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
I'm T-Bone.
And we're coming at you with another video today where we're going to be doing our Week 15 Power Rankings. This is where we talk about who we think are the top 10 teams in the NFL headed into Week 15. And Lord have mercy on our souls, was this a hard week. I think all but 3 teams who were in our top 10 from last week won. Like, so many good teams lost to bad teams this week that it just made our life trying to put this thing together hell. So if this absolutely sucks, don't blame us. Blame the NFL for absolutely sucking this year and for everyone being terrible. Although I will say, I feel a little bit vindicated with this week's results and everything showing that, hey, I'm very right about everyone sucking very clearly. So I will toot my own horn a little bit there because I do feel vindicated in my previous statements. But it didn't make my life any easier. It didn't make our life any easier with this. We were... The indiscriminate noises that we were making just going through all of the different teams and all of the different games and everything for this week was something. And I don't envy other creators who also had to go through this absolute hellscape after what happened this week. But with that being said, let's jump right into it. Coming in at number 10, we've got ourselves the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins fall to number 10 after an ugly loss to the Tennessee Titans in which they were 3 minutes away from a comfortable win, but they blew a 14-point lead, gave up 15 points in the final 3 minutes, and lost on Monday Night Football to the Tennessee Titans, a team that had struggled a lot this year, but Will Levis came in clutch for them, and the Dolphins fall, and that's going to really hurt their campaign for the number 1 seed, and possibly the AFC East if the Bills are able to turn things around late. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, they have been coasting on their success when it comes to, their wins and all that on this list. And we deliberated maybe taking them off, but that 70-point game and their 9-3 record, 9-4 record, is what's holding them down. And they're still good. Tyreek Hill is my MVP. If anyone wins it, no one does. No one deserves it. But yeah, that's why they're there.
Yeah, I mean, they like, it's our opinion that they're not as good as their record shows. They've benefited from a very weak schedule, and you saw they lost to a very bad team this week. But so many other teams are also awful that they just, by courtesy, end up on this list. Alrighty, coming in at number 9, we've got ourselves the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals getting it done against the Colts this week, and Jake Browning looking like he might be the answer. And the Bengals are in a position where they could very easily make the postseason if they continue to play the way they have. Obviously fell off after Joe Burrow got hurt. But the last 2 weeks, their offense has been going crazy, put up a lot of points against Jags and Colts, and they are re-energized. And with as bad as everyone's been, they're in a great position to make the playoffs. T-Bone, your thoughts?
No, they really are. Despite Burrow going down, Browning has found himself success here. I doubt they're going to keep him. He'll probably, if he wants to say he'd be a great backup, but he's probably going to find a starting position elsewhere. But yeah, he's been serviceable. He can help win games. He's doing what he needs to do, and that's all he's been asked of, and that's all he needs.
Absolutely. Now, the Bengals do have a couple of tough games coming up. Chiefs and Browns on the schedule. Of course, also the Vikings and Steelers, who are both fighting for playoff spots. And with the Steelers, it's an in-division matchup you never, ever, 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 ever know, especially with the AFC North. But the last couple weeks, the Bengals have shown they can still play, and they have enough talent to win, even with Joe Burrow on the sidelines. Alrighty, coming in at number 8, we've got ourselves the Detroit Lions. The Lions, on a bit of a skid, fall to the Chicago Bears 28-13 this week. And the Lions, kind of a reverse from last year, had a really bad start to the year and then just had an excellent finish. Right now, they had a great start to this year, but they're starting to fall off to the point where we consider dropping them out of this list entirely. It has not been a good last few weeks for the Lions, and they really, really need to pick it up and get moving again if they want to be able to go on a playoff run. Playoff spot is all but locked with their record, but if they want to actually win in the playoffs, they really need to turn it around. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, unlike last year, they are having a slow finish. This is not a very good-looking team. They're not. They're winning some games, but losing against the Bears that close, no. They need to really harness their early season success and get back to there, because if they keep losing, they may make the playoffs, but they're at kind of a risk of losing it. If they keep losing, the Vikings keep kicking field goals, who knows? But I still think the Lions have a good shot of winning the North, but they need to get their act together. 9-4 is respectable, but please, this is ridiculous.
Absolutely. But then again, it also feels like a lot of teams in the league are having the same fall off. So maybe the Lions could try and benefit from that, although as soon as anyone hits San Francisco or Baltimore, they're in for a rough day.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, coming in at number 7, we've got ourselves the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs fall to the Buffalo Bills on a late field goal in a game that had a bit of controversy in it with the whole officiating situation and the way the Chiefs reacted to it. And if you want kind of our thoughts on that, you can check out the Patriots recap video. We did talk about that a bit there. I don't want to clog this video up too much, but the Chiefs feel like they're going downhill a little bit. It's kind of been the story for a lot of these teams here. Chiefs, Dolphins, Lions all going downhill. Bengals making it back on because they're starting to go uphill a little bit. It's been a rough time, and there are a lot of teams right now who aren't playing great football and who need to figure it out before the playoffs start. The Chiefs are now in a position where they might not even win the division. It's been that rough for them the last few weeks, so they really need to clean it up, especially on the offense, if they want to be able to go far this year. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, they really need to get their act together if they're going to keep their grasp on the West. Because right now, they may be at risk of it. Now, they're still solid. You can see still with this crappy of a team, they're still 8-4 or whatever it was. But still, they need to be careful and watch themselves.
Absolutely, especially look out for Denver. That's yeah. They could very easily fall to them.
Yeah.
Alrighty, coming in at number 6, we've got ourselves the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams lose to the Baltimore Ravens in overtime. A tough loss for them, but they have been playing very well the last few weeks. And it's weird. It's like, a team that was off of the list entirely loses a game and then jumps a whole bunch of other teams who have been on the list for a very, very long time. What gives? Well, every team on here but the Bengals lost. And the Rams have beaten some pretty good teams. And overall, the last 4 weeks have been playing very, very well. Like, a big part of their midseason slump, I think, was injuries. And so they've recovered really, really well. And, even though they lost to Baltimore, they kind of showed this week that they're a good team that you really, really got to watch out for. And I think they're a team that could potentially beat San Francisco in the playoffs. So, the way they've been going, it's been pretty good. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Oh, completely. No, I understand, maybe people's questions with why are the Rams now on this list and so high. But you got to think, one of the top three teams in the NFL, in my opinion, and you're holding them to only one scores, bringing them to overtime. No, this is a very, very different Rams team than earlier in the year, and they can definitely make noise. So if they keep playing like they played against the Ravens, they can make a shot. At least for the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they're a team that's good enough to at least make the conference championship. Only two teams I can really see getting on their way right now are Dallas and San Francisco. It's weird saying that Dallas can get in someone's way in the playoffs, but that is the reality of things. So they got a few more weeks to obviously get themselves in the playoffs because their midseason slump did kind of mess with them. But they're a team that's more than good enough to win the rest of their games and put themselves in a position to make the wild card and go on a run.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, coming in at number 5, we've got ourselves the Denver Broncos. The Broncos getting the win over the Los Angeles Chargers this week. And they have been pretty good in the second half of the season, won 6 of their last 7 games, which includes a 5-game winning streak. And they have just been going. Had a bit of a hiccup last week, but didn't matter. This week came back, got a good win over the Chargers, and they're within striking distance of the Kansas City Chiefs in first place in the AFC West. A lot of people, just a few weeks ago, were like, oh, the Chiefs have won the West. It's over. Broncos are knocking. Chiefs better watch out. T-Bone, your thoughts?
No, yeah, the Broncos are not done. I've seen a couple of posts talking about how up and the race is once again over. No, it's not. Not anymore. It's not. So, and definitely, I mean, you see with like the past, couple of games, the success that they've had, they're making a push. This is not the same 20 to 70 Broncos. This just isn't it. It's just not. It's a different team.
Yeah, and I mean, credit to Sean Payton for just completely turning that season around. I mean, they play the Dolphins, which I think is very possible to play off. I could easily see them winning that game. Quite comfortably,
absolutely.
Too.
No, I totally think that they can beat the Dolphins now. And that's crazy to think because it was a 70 to 20 game before. This is a different team. Payton is making an argument for Coach of the Year.
Absolutely. Payton's done a great job turning this thing around. And also give credit to Vance Joseph on the defensive side of things. Defense struggled early, but he's done a really good job turning it around, and now that defense playing pretty good and a big part of their success. Alrighty, coming in at number 4, we've got ourselves the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles fall to the Dallas Cowboys in rather disappointing fashion, 33-13. Just an abysmal showing from them. Their second consecutive week getting blown out by one of the best teams in the league. Obviously, they're this high just courtesy of their record and the fact that they still have one of the most well-built teams, but now the Eagles are really, really, really starting to ask themselves a lot of questions about can they get past San Francisco and Dallas. Dallas currently holds first place in the division. Eagles had a 2-game lead and lost it in the last 2 weeks, and so they've really got their work cut out for them right now. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, they've kind of had a slump, which is kind of sad to see, but yeah, no, they're still just a great team. They're a great team. Despite these 2 games, I still think that they can obviously make noise and make moves. But you play like you played the last 2 games, you're not going to expect to, not fall a couple. You're gonna lose the spot a little bit. So that's why they are here.
I mean, they're still a good team, and they still can win games and even potentially win the Super Bowl. Like, the 49ers have the same record as the Eagles. They had a bit of a slump there for a while themselves, So this could just be a slump for the Eagles, and they played poorly against the wrong teams. It happens sometimes. But it's going to be up to them to pick themselves up and turn this thing around and get back the momentum they had. And if they can't do that, well then, good luck on that Super Bowl run. Alrighty, coming in at number 3, we've got ourselves the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys destroy the Philadelphia Eagles and claim first place in the NFC East. And they are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. If they hadn't lost to Arizona, again, what is with that game? That game comes back way too often. They'd be number 1 seed in the NFC, and they'd have the number 1 record in the NFL. Now, they're tied for the best record in the NFL, but they'd be in sole possession of it. They have been very, very good this year. Their talent continues to carry them, in spite of Mike McCarthy being Mike McCarthy. But they're winning games. Their offense is so good. Their defense is so good. It just comes down to San Francisco at this point. But they're a team, this genuinely might actually be the Cowboys' best chance at winning a Super Bowl in a while, which is weird to say about the Cowboys because they're normally big-time playoff chokers. Now, obviously, they're going to have to throw that reputation off come the playoffs here in a few weeks, but they've put themselves in a position to make some noise. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Oh, I fully think that they're going to make some noise, and it's really interesting to see the fact that if it was not for that Cardinals game, they'd be at the top. But regardless of that, you can see how cohesive the team is, and Dak is playing well. How cohesive the Cowboys team is, and I'm going to say it. I was saying it for the Eagles. I'm going to say it now for the Cowboys. Great offense, great defense, great special teams. Our very own Brandon Aubrey, who's a kicker for the USFL Birmingham Stallions, both me and Vegas's favorite team.
Let's go. 2-time champions.
Yes, sir. Has great success in the NFL as a kicker, so it's nice to see.
Absolutely. Now, I wouldn't say it's nice to see because it's the Cowboys, and, everyone with a brain hates the Cowboys, which means your uncle didn't have a brain. But,
okay. All right.
But, they're still a very, very scary team, and not one that I think anyone wants to play right now. Alrighty, coming in at number 2, we've got ourselves the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens with a comeback overtime victory against the Los Angeles Rams. Ravens offense looked really good, put up 37 points. Defense had a bit of a struggle against the Rams, but the Rams' strength is their offense. They have a lot of stars in the offense. And the Ravens, bruised, battered, injured, still put up a fight and gritted out a very tough win against a very good and very hot team right now. And full credit to them for that. They are easily the best team in the AFC. The favorites to go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. They're playing great. And again, they're without several key pieces. And they're still winning football games. Give credit to John Harbaugh and this organization for what they've been able to do this year in spite of all the adversity they faced. And because of that, I think they're a team that is primed to go very far this year. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yes, despite the injuries, despite them, Lamar is not only stepping up, he's stepping forward and thriving, which is really just nice to see. It's nice to see Lamar, despite the injuries. It's not like a Tyler Huntley show in the playoffs or just barely missing it. Despite the injury trouble that they've seemed to have in the past couple of years, they're making moves. They're making them. So it's definitely nice to see, and I definitely think that they can go far with how they've been playing with really a solid receiving core now.
I mean, absolutely. Zay Flowers has looked really good. One of the best draft picks by any team this year. He's been a big help to them. I mean, overall, they have had some things go wrong. They've had it tough. They've had it rough, but they have persevered, and that makes them a prime candidate to maybe even win the Super Bowl. And finally, coming in at number 1, we've got ourselves the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners beat the Seattle Seahawks in a game that I think was a little close on the score indicator, but overall it was relatively comfortable. I mean, it's just been a great year for the 49ers. Besides a 3-game hiccup in which they had a lot of key injuries during that time period and also had a couple of bad calls goes against them, they have been the best team in the league. They have been scary. I mean, they blew out the Dallas Cowboys. They blew out the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're going to get an opportunity against the Baltimore Ravens in a couple of weeks to beat them. So, like, they if they are able to beat the Ravens, which I do anticipate, they will have beaten 2, 3, and 4 on this list and shown there really isn't a team better than them. Obviously, the winner of that game is going to take top in the power rankings unless something drastic happens next week. But the Niners have just been so good and so complete on all sides of the ball. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Completely agree. I mean, this is I think the best team in the NFL right now currently. And really, it's great. It's great to see them, perform. Even though they had their quarterback woes last year, they found their guy who I don't think is a game manager, but I also don't think is MVP. But yeah, with all that's happened, I think it's evident to say he isn't. They are in fact the number one team.
Absolutely. Now they are going to have to fight over their next 4 games because there are a lot of teams up there at 10-3, but they are a team that is primed to do so, and they're certainly playing like the team that is going to finish at number 1. Alrighty, that is it for our top 10. Coming in at number 10, we've got the Dolphins. Number 9, the Bengals. Number 8, the Lions. Number 7, the Chiefs. Number 6, the Rams. Number 5, the Broncos. Number 4, the Eagles. Number 3, the Cowboys. Number 2, the Ravens. And number 1, the San Francisco 49ers. Please be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below, or feel free to drop your own top 10 or anything else you'd like. We would love to hear what you all have to say. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.